Real estate in Canada, it has been on a decline recently, but I do not believe that a market crash is coming. We have seen a slowdown and decline in real estate prices throughout Canada, some cities setting anywhere from 5 to 15% already in 2022. And unless you've been living under a rock, you also know that interest rates have been increasing this year, thanks to our friends at the Bank of Canada. So what does this mean for real estate in Canada moving forward? Will this inevitably lead to a real estate crash? I don't think so. And here's why I think a market crash is unlikely. The first reason that I think a looming market crash is not on the horizon for Canadian real estate is that it is tied so closely into the GDP of the country. So in Canada, our gross domestic product just basically accounts for all the income we have as a country, and real estate transactions make about 10% of that figure to date. And as a country, we can't really shut it off and just turn off that 10% of our income. It would be kind of like taking a pool and turning off the chlorine injector and just having the pool water sit there and just become scuzzy over time. If it's not getting enough chlorine, if there's not enough real estate transactions being done, the economy shuts off, the pool water gets contaminated, and no one goes swimming. Unlike our friends in the USA, we've been using stress tests for a long time now to qualify buyers to make sure they can actually afford houses in case interest rates do rise. They have risen, and now buyers are facing a penny pinch, but they should be able to make those payments thanks to the stress test that was in place when they originally bought their homes. I also do believe that in this economy, with raising inflation and raising interest rates, if job loss does occur at a large scale, I think that you would see intervention by the government to then change something like the amortization period of mortgages and bump them back from the original 25 to 30, 35, even 40-year amortizations to offset the costs. So this is how longer amortization periods can come into effect and help the housing market survive. If we take a home price of $1 million here in Canada with a 20% down payment and 25-year standard amortization, which means you pay your loan off over the course of 25 years, with an interest rate of 2.5%, which was definitely available before all the interest rate hikes started out, you get a monthly mortgage payment of roughly $3,600, 35 and change. Now, if everybody thinks that housing prices are going to decline 20, 30%, let's take that into consideration here for this calculation. If the home price from $1 million drops 20%, it goes down to $800,000. So we'll put that into the 20% down payment, a loan term of 25 years, and an interest rate of 5.5%. That gives us a monthly payment of $3,900. And everyone says, Andrew, that's way more expensive. I can't afford that interest rate. I can't afford that payment because it's cheaper to buy the $1 million house 6 months ago than it is to buy this house now. But what I think is going to happen is that the loan term will be increased from 25 up to 30 years, which makes our payment drop from 3,900 down to 3,600, which is exactly the same as a $1 million house with a 2.5% interest rate. If we go one step further and go from 30 to 35 years, you're just extending the time it takes to pay off your house, thus lowering the monthly mortgage payment and making it more affordable for Canadians to still get mortgages. Now, that's a big reason why I think the housing market in Canada will be okay. I think there'll be policy change and those amortization periods will get lengthened out to make payments more affordable for the everyday Canadian. But also, we have to think about banks don't want foreclosures and short sales. They don't want people losing their homes and foreclosing. It takes more effort on their part to go and sell a home in foreclosure, and they want to create easy ways of making money for themselves. They don't want to handle all these different transactions, have to find buyers for all these homes that are sold out of market. It's in their best interest to find other ways of making money by manipulating things like amortizations or interest rates as much as they can to keep the profit machine running. There's also a huge supply issue in Canada thanks to immigration that is going to prop up the housing market because there's going to be a crazy amount of demand with all the immigration Canada has planned. In 2022, Canada has planned for over 430,000 people to come to Canada via immigration, land here, get jobs, start contributing to the economy. They need places to live, and we have a housing shortage. When there's a shortage of a commodity and there's more demand for what's available, the prices reflect that by going up. And by the year 2030, CMHC, the Canadian Mortgage and Housing Corporation, projects that there'll be a shortfall of 3.5 million affordable housing units, meaning that there's going to have to be an extra 400,000+ units built every year from now till 2030 to make up the shortfall. That's not realistic based on the number of skilled laborers it takes to actually build these homes, the actual government processes and permits and approval processes in place. They only have so much they can do capacity-wise. They can't just throw more money at this problem and expect it to go away. It has to be land and labor to make it happen, and there's just a shortage of both. So ultimately, the easiest thing that I think the government wants to do is just kick this problem down the road and not worry about it right now. Just delay, delay, delay. We've seen this happen time and again. Same response in 2020, same response in 2008, a little bit of a delayed response during the Great Recession. But there is a government intervention where the government artificially props up the economy because they don't want the debt-based system that we're in to fail and allow it to reset itself. There'd be just great deals of pain, and nobody actually wants that to actually happen. I don't myself. So instead, I think this is what's going to happen. I think that the housing market doesn't crash. Instead, I think there's a brief cooling off period. Prices can cool. They can come all the way back to 20% drop. We saw that in the example with the interest rates. If they change the amortization rules, which I think they will, coming in the years 2024, 2025, when most of these houses that were bought in 2020 and 2021 are coming up for a 5-year renewal, they will see the problem coming down the pipe and act to change the policy. They're going to extend amortizations. They're going to see more kind of examples of home co-ownership or multi-generational families where different kind of generations are living together because it's more cost effective to do that way. I do also think that the side hustle game is going to pick up across the country. More people are going to get first and second jobs to kind of help offset the rising costs that they're facing. There's never been a greater disparity in terms of wage gap to housing prices, and it is a problem, but it's not one that's going to tank the market. But I want to know what you think. Do you agree with my prediction? Tell me why in the comments. Also, like and subscribe if you got value of this video today. And if you've heard about variable rate mortgages and trigger rates and want to know what they are and how they work, this next video will explain everything.